We have a system that's hundreds of years in the making that's essentially ossified, and ossified in a way to keep most people out of it, but also really, really perniciously to make people feel that nothing will ever change. So it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter who you vote for, nothing is going to change.
Some campaigners say the UK's democracy is broken. The House of Lords is undemocratic, and first past the post means people don't really get a say at elections. At the World Transformed Festival in Liverpool, we asked them to explain the problem and how voters could be given more power.
There's only 80 to 100 marginal seats in this country, the ones that actually change hands at elections. Everywhere else is a safe seat. So it doesn't really matter, to a lot of people, whether or not you vote in one way or the other. And that's why the parties focus on those swing seats. But then the people who live in those seats think, well, it doesn't matter, no one's listening to me. And in a way, they're right, because what happens is activists get told to go to the quotes winnable seats, and then people feel left out. And I think that it leads to things like the Brexit vote, because people stop feeling they're being listened to. With a proportional system, every vote would count, and this idea of only focusing on certain areas in the country or even certain demographics of voters would go, because every vote would count, and that can only be a good thing for democracy.
If you look to what Keir Starmer's doing right now, people are very critical of his small target strategy, carrying them in vase, don't say anything. But actually, that's really going with the grain of the electoral logic of first past the post. So it really rewards doing stuff on the margins. It really rewards coming to the centre to kind of win over small groups of people. And don't forget, politicians can ignore the vast majority of people in order to get elected just by working in these small marginal areas. And so I think what we've got to understand as the left is that we need more space, we need more competition, and we need that sense of agency that is absolutely requisite for kind of any sort of transformation of the democratic and political space we want to see.
But if you do have a group like UKIP and they are getting 10% of the vote, then that's democracy. They should get 10% of the seats. And sunlight is the best disinfectant. If these people get in, then they've got to deliver as an MP on the promises, and people see that they can't do that. These simple, populist responses to complex problems don't work, and we shouldn't be afraid of the population seeing that. So, yes, you are going to get a situation where under democracy, some people will get in that we don't agree with, but it's our responsibility as a Labour Party to win that message and win the maximum amount of seats we can do, and show people up if they are people like UKIP and so on that we vehemently disagree with.
Democracy is an idea, but unless it is actually carried out in practice, it's little more than that. And in this country, the extent to which we live in a democracy is extremely narrow. We have very limited say and control over how the economy functions. We have almost no sway over government policy as compared to these big corporate and multinational interests. We also have a reduction in rights to protest, historically rights to strike, the anti-trade union laws in place, and in many cases getting worse. So the idea that working class people have got any real say over how the most important parts of the society in which we live is absolutely, I think, a hallucination.
What I would say to people that criticise Liz Truss's honours lists and peerages is that you should also be criticising Boris Johnson's, David Cameron's, all of these people that have been put in. Prime Ministers should not be putting anybody into our Parliament. The only people that sit in our Parliament should be the people that got elected. So, if anything, Liz Truss was just doing what everybody else has done.